2-hour time zone change coming home just didn't really happen.
Yep. Go ahead.
Call to order the Storm Lake Special Council meeting of April 7th. Is there any considerations, council, of any changes in the agenda? This is a pretty simple agenda. Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson McKinney, second by Councilperson Rickliffs. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is set. Do you have any disclosures to the agenda by any city council members? Hearing none. I'll move on to the first item of business. And the only item of business for this one is the public hearing on setting the maximum tax levy and rate for the fiscal year 2025-2026. I will open that public hearing. Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This standalone public hearing is for the proposed tax levy as mandated by House File 718, passed 2 years ago. The notice of the public hearing was published on March 21st in accordance with the state law. The proposed tax levy was also provided to
Mr.
the
Gibbons,
county.
We got microphone troubles.
And we want to make sure we hear you.
Couldn't you hear me? Wasn't loud enough?
I can hear you.
Just going up there messes up with the technology. I think that the other night you had trouble with technology right when we got started.
We figured it out, though. We'll work around it, however we have to.
Is it you? Is that
Well, apparently, I
Sounds
think.
like it.
That's what I'm getting from them.
That's what I'm gathering.
It was a good meeting on Thursday, though. After the technology came back, it was great.
And I'm sure this one will too when the technology comes back.
You got Tim here to take care of it now.
Some broadcast is not
Did you want to sing and dance or you could entertain while?
You definitely wouldn't want to see that. I'll tell you that right now. Absolutely. Oh, empty the room.
That's where I found Mercy Rule.
No, I still can't hear. Hello? No. My son is broadcasting. Oh, but there's no. She scored more.
sessions and because
Yeah, but he can't hear us.
he could hear.
I think I can get into it.
How many teams do they have?
Three.
It's been a few of them.
Happy to come back.
What's that?
Happy to come back.
Yeah.
Crosby's on,
But now it's three.
It's nice.
no,
It's,
it's on T,
nice to
TJ.
sleep in my own bed.
Yeah,
I can remember. Yeah, we got back a week ago or something.
Still in Fedderson.
And turn around, had the convention over in Butte Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so we got home late last night. We did a couple nights.
Just warms up.
I know, had breakfast tonight.
Outside.
It's not so bad that I have to be here tonight. This is kinda like, you know, when you go to the movies, you're waiting for the movie to start.
Yeah, exactly, except we're not getting the popcorn.
We're not getting any
We're
popcorn.
not getting any popcorn.
I'm sure somebody can fix that.
There's a
I
popcorn
just can't
machine.
get them online to be
Hello?
able to hear.
Yeah.
Right. Couple people online.
I think it's just Joe. I think the other one's Mida.
Yeah.
There's a popcorn machine in there. I see
There
it.
is?
Yeah,
You
here we
can
go.
They can figure out how to use it. It's been a long time since I did.
Is it just Zoom not working or
It appears to be.
but everything else is getting recorded?
Yeah.
Can we message Joe Obby and
Just send, you
Just
can
tell him
listen
he-
to the
that Greg can come here?
Okay.
Or he can
Send them some signal.
You wanna try starting Zoom over here?
call.
Should we get started?
Yeah, I think.
Once you can get.
Go ahead, yeah.
Go, Tyler.
Okay. Like me to start over?
No, just start from
No,
where you.
just start where you are.
The proposed tax levy was provided to the county for disbursement on the newly mandated levy information letter provided to all property tax owners in the community. The mayor and city staff also hosted a Meet the Mayor event last Thursday evening, April 3rd, to discuss property tax and dive into the understanding around property tax dollars. Some of the highlights of that presentation include property taxes are currently determined based on the property valuation. Those assessed valuations are determined by the county assessor as required, and the law requires those assessed values have some relation to their fair market value. The city portion of the property tax, it makes up about a third of the overall property tax bill. The city's overall budget, including those funded by property taxes, is built through strategic planning with the council goals set as priorities. 75% of the tax portion of the city's budgeted expenses are related to public safety and recreation. The remaining 25% fund economic development, the airport, the library, voter-approved band, and the council directives. Fiscal year 25-26 long-term decisions related to the programs funded by property tax include $400,000 of expenditures cuts. The extent of the full presentation is available at the city's website under the Finance Department page. The Meet the Mayor event provided an opportunity to ask questions to better understand the notices received in the mail. Additional comments at that meeting included relation to Kings Point. Kings Point is not included in the city's tax roll. They actually pay property tax annually. They are included in the budget under their self-supporting proprietary program. Comparing one city's property tax to another is difficult to model. Each community provides different services to their residents. Specifically, rural and urban tax rates change as you drive in or drive outside of town. Knowing the levy authorities which make up your property tax is important for the better understanding of why your levy rates vary. The services provided by the city of Storm Lake are centered around the council goals. Recent trends of growth in Storm Lake, which have ultimately reduced the city's overall general fund levy related to House File 718 2 years running, and the increase in housing needs are a positive showing of the quality of life of Storm Lake. Additional legislation is on the table at the state level to change the overall property tax system, and city staff continues to monitor those programs and progress in legislation. The proposed tax levy that was sent out includes a levy rate of 15.17441, an increase of 11.58% from last year, resulting from increasing insurance costs, stabilizing fund balances to achieve the council's desired 40% fund balance, and the issuance of a new fire truck bond. The goal of the city staff is to provide a stable and sustainable levy with a balanced budget while supplying the community with the services they desire. Recommendation for this meeting is to hear public comment and close the public hearing.
Okay, after that, is there anyone here who would like to speak at this public hearing? If so, please step up to the microphone and identify yourself and your address, please.
Hi, I'm Rick Weimer. I live at 808 Clover Lane here in Storm Lake. And about a year and a half ago, went by fast, I moved from California to Storm Lake. Storm Lake is where I grew up in. One of the reasons I left California was because they taxed everything, and we felt overtaxed, and in some cases there wasn't a thing we could do anything about it. The interesting thing about moving here was that the house I sold in California for more money than the one I paid here, the taxes on it were half of what I pay here, which kind of shocked me. And then in addition to that, I just got an assessment, and I realize that's with the county, that increased the value of my property in those 18 months of $17,000, which, you know, if you apply a couple of percentage points to $17,000 for it's not that much. But I was shocked at all those numbers. And I wanted to go to that Thursday night meeting, but I was not feeling well, because I would have had some other questions relative to where the money goes. Am I allowed to go into
Yep.
that here?
Yep. Would you like Tyler to break down where the money goes?
Would I like to hear it?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Gibbons, would you like to see
Well,
what information you have might answer your questions, Mr. Wimmer? And-
Well, I think I tuned in, there was a video of each session,
Mhm.
and I think I heard those. But I'll hear.
Do you have any questions off of those then?
Well, the questions I have is more about and I'll just go through them. If two houses, quite similar, across from, the street from each other, are assessed, and one of them is a dump, which I have seen here in Storm Lake, are they both assessed at the same value?
That would be a question for the county assessor's office,
Okay.
because they're the ones that actually do the assessing of the property.
Following up on that, I was gonna ask, why are these depressed homes not cited and made to come up to standard? And I know there's an enforcement thing with the city, but I've reported a couple things in the past, and I've seen more, and they don't seem to change anything, so. And I didn't hear anything about the streets in Storm Lake. I ride a bike all over the town, mostly on the trails, but in some of the streets, they're so bunged up that my bike, I mean, it's not safe for me to ride over them, much less cars. And they've been that way ever since I've been here. And I don't know if there is a program here. Is there a street program?
Tyler, would you like to address that? I didn't know if you still had a couple other questions.
Yeah.
Well, I got it from Kyle.
So we can just catch up to where we are so far. So the programs that we're talking about and related to the property tax are actually funded by property tax. Streets are funded by road use tax. It's a completely separate tax on when you fuel your tank. It's a fuel tax that is dispersed to communities, and that's what the city of Storm Lake utilizes to maintain and make the repairs necessary to any of the streets and roads. Along with our large projects are funded by your local option sales tax and your hotel motel taxes. Those help provide for the larger projects of those. They're not funded by property taxes, and that's why they're not in this here. Our next public hearing that we'll be setting tonight is for the overall budget, which does include public works and the road use tax dollars. As far as the assessment value that is between property owners and the assessor themselves, the city does not control anything with assessed values. And we do have programs in place for properties that are dilapidated. That's a program that's being reduced in the budget to reduce the property tax, but they are also allowed due process, so things just don't happen quickly when there are issues or citations like that, but they're still being enforced by our community service officer.
Okay,
Honorable Mayor and Council, may I just interject one thing? When we were talking about specifically Thursday night, we discussed what positions are actually going to be reduced. And that position that Mr. Gibbons was speaking about, our community service officer, we had two, we're down to one now. We're not funding another position. That was one position that we're not funding in the budget. We simply just don't have the funds.
so all of the homes I see that are significantly depressed in Storm Lake, peeling paint, I can go on, may not get addressed.
They may not be getting addressed as fast as they used to be getting addressed. There's a couple different pieces here. There's a property maintenance code, which is a different department, and then we have the police department, which is the community service office position, which is the junk in yards, weeds, mowing, items like that.
And that one still exists then?
It does exist, yes, but it's a smaller department.
It's not only part-
Correct.
And the other portion of that is that the funding, road use tax can't be used in the general fund in general, and the property tax money can't be, the general fund money can't be used for the roads, so, it makes it a
Okay,
little
I see.
different.
I don't know enough about your system and the different entities to make any sense in some cases of the questions I have.
Well, sometimes the system doesn't make all that sense either, so.
And you're not the only one.
Well, good, I don't want to be alone.
But if you ever, go ahead with your questions. I mean, if you have further, that you'd like to go further into it, we'd be more than happy to have, stop in at City Hall and be more than happy to explain it to you further. But please go ahead with any other questions that you have.
Well, the other things on my list are relative to Kings Point and maybe a couple of parks. On the parks, which I think you're responsible for.
Yeah, the parks would be part of the general budget.
Yeah. I've
Recording in
noticed-
progress.
Because I, ever since I got to Storm Lake, I love parks. I've ridden through them, I've ridden thousands of miles through Ross Parks. And I've noticed a significant difference of late. And even, I know it's cold, but even on real nice days, that the restrooms along the road are either, some of them are just closed down for repairs. One has a lock broken on it, so it's usable, but it's filthy. And other ones, there's one at Chautauqua Park. It's about the only one open on any given day. And it's like at Kings Point on the couple times, there's been temperatures of 70 degrees almost. And the playgrounds were full of kids, and there's been a sign on both of the restroom doors down there that they're closed for repairs, and it's been there for quite some time. And the other piece of this whole thing is I ride that whole ride all the way around to Harry's driveway and back to Westlake Estates, and sometimes you just gotta go. And when they're not open and not operating, it's pretty tough, but it's affecting other people.
I don't know if we have a timeline as to when those open.
Mr. Rickby can come up here. We were actually on Honorable Mayor and Council talking about when those are going to be open for the public. We do have to winterize them. Mr. Rickby?
Yeah, so the only ones that are open in the winter are Frank Star and Scout Park, and then the Chautauqua Park one at the back of the shelter house in the winter. We close the rest of them for the winter.
Okay.
So they're not open, but we've had problems with some plumbing and issues at the Scout Park one, so that one's been closed off and on as we could fix them.
But the lock is, somebody pried the lock open and
Yeah,
got
well,
it in there and.
Right,
I
right.
know you can't.
We have some homeless
Unsheltered.
problems.
Okay, I
So,
understand.
and that's the reason they're usually checked every day. We check them, but we can't check them every hour.
No, and I
So-
understand that.
Right, right. So, yeah, we, even on the weekends, we come in each day and check bathrooms, even in the winter, so,
Hmm.
but once a day. But the people that are staying in them don't really
Oh, yeah.
take care of them
Yeah, no, I understand.
as they
that.
should, so,
Okay. Okay.
if that answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Kings Point, that's the city operated?
It doesn't have anything to do with the property tax. I mean, if you want to bring that up hear the public on our next meeting, our general meeting here tonight, you certainly can.
Okay,
But we want to keep this meeting right now to property tax.
all right. Thank you.
So, because there might be some other people here who would like to speak on that property tax during this public hearing, and we are on a,
Thank you.
yeah, but you can certainly bring that up and hear the public on the regular council meeting here. Do we have anyone else who'd like to speak on the property tax, in this property tax public hearing? And if there's anybody online who'd like to speak at this public hearing, it's *6 to unmute, please. Do not hear any. Council, do you have anything to say here at the public hearing? Mr. Gibbons, do you have anything else to add?
I do not.
And just for those, Mr. Gibbons is willing, and if people have questions on the property tax, don't hesitate to contact City Hall, and he'll go through it. He'll help you figure out your part of the city's, your part of the city's part of your property tax for you too, and how that compares to a year ago. So, okay, anybody else? Hearing none then, I will close the public hearing. And council, have anything else to add? Not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the special meeting. Moved by Councilperson Martinez.
Second?
Second by Councilperson McKinney. I'm having trouble. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? This meeting's adjourned. Okay, then we will have the regular council meeting here in about 3 or 4 minutes.